Hello and welcome to MetalCast. This is a podcast from Metal Coffee Shop, and it is live at MetalCon 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia. We are sitting on the Coffee Conversations live sound stage, sponsored by New Tech Machinery, and we are doing a podcast because we're like, hey, let's get a little bit longer. Let's talk. And we've got our expert, Bobby Mesmer, here. We're going to talk about metal buildings. We are also live on Instagram. This is pretty cool.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I love this. Does this make us influencers? We're metal influencers
we're
today.
Metal,
is that what we're doing?
There we go. We are metal influencing. I'm Heidi Ellsworth. I should say that. And you are?
I am Bobby Mesmer, the CEO of RMG Erectors.
Awesome. Okay, so we have done a lot of MetalCast podcasts, and we always have fun with them.
We do.
And so today, I kind of want to just go over some of the things that I'm curious about and what is happening, especially being here at MetalCon and really seeing what everybody's talking about and what's happening out there. It's made me have some questions. So.
Okay.
First of all,
your experience in this business is so overwhelming sometimes, and so the fact that you have questions these are going to be hard. I can tell already. This is going to be a problem.
Hard, but I do think for people who are watching out there and who are kind of like, okay, metal buildings. What is it? What is a pre-engineered metal building? How does it work? Because some people probably are thinking barns, right? Or they're thinking these big industrial things, but there's so much more to it. So kind of give us what you do. I would love everyone to have a flavor of what the type of buildings that you are engineering, that you're building, that you're erecting. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think the first thing is to talk about the pre-engineered, that it's an old terminology, right?
Yeah.
It's like calling a jacuzzi tub. It's a brand. And so pre-engineered is not what it is used to be anymore.
Okay.
Years ago it was a pre-engineered building because it was literally like a catalog building. Like you ordered your parts and pieces and they came out and you put them together and there it was.
Yeah.
The technology over the 50 years or more has come so far. And so it's just the terminology has kept itself. So what they are is it's a pre-engineered building starts with its primary steel, which is a built-up steel product, so 3 plates, okay, as opposed to a hot rolled product where it's just a single column that is hot rolled. We build up our columns in 3 plates.
Okay.
We use a cold form product for our secondary steel, and then the industry, as a pre-engineered industry, we do a complete building envelope.
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing the metal panels, we're doing the wall insulation, we're doing the roofing and the trim. So it's a complete product, it's a complete envelope. We're technically, what I would like to say, is 3 to 4 trades in one, because we're iron workers, we're sheet metal workers, we're roofers, and we're insulators because we insulate the building as well.
And I'm going to say the cladding, right? The panels on the building.
Yeah, the wall panels.
Yes.
Yep, that's all part of it. So wall panels internally, wall panels externally, and different types of wall panels. I mean, you see here at the show, I mean, there's so many different types. We talked a lot about it yesterday.
Yes.
So it's really amazing seeing what the technology is bringing, but all the wall panels. So that's what encompasses a pre-engineered building, as opposed to just your standard structural construction.
Right.
And then it's the way it goes together, right? A pre-engineered building is fully fabricated in a shop, put on a truck, and sent out. So in the field, it's erected as an assembly. It's bolt together.
Yeah.
There is no welding in the field. Everything is bolt and screwed together, which is interesting because structural steel always came out partially fabricated, and there would be a lot of welding in the field, but you're starting to see structural steel actually migrate to a point where it's being fully fabricated and being bolted together as well, which is really, so it's interesting that they're taking some lessons from the pre-engineered world.
It is, and you know what, that is really, when we talk about trends in building, that is the trends, is prefabricating things in fact, I was just at a talk about this, where they're talking about, would you build a car in your driveway? Why are you building your home in your lot, right? Why aren't you building most of it in a factory where it's better conditions for the workers, where it's better quality control and overall, and then bring it out to site. So you've been way ahead of the curve on this.
And it's speed to market too. That's the thing. Fabricating within those conditions puts you in a position to be speed to market.
Yeah.
So you're able to fabricate things faster, where out in the field, when you got to be welding clips and doing all this stuff and gussets and all that, it creates a situation where you're not able to do it as quickly. There's a lot of labor intensive, and that also drives cost.
Yeah.
So you're happier workers. You're getting a better product, better quality control for sure, as you said, and then you're really being able to really turn this over and put a product on the street faster too. And that's what everybody wants nowadays. It's really about that turnover.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the architecture, right? Because I think there's a lot of people out there who have an idea of what the architectural look of a metal building is, but that is all different and changing now. Yeah, changing. Talk a little bit about that look and how it's fitting into all these different markets.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody thinks of the traditional pre-engineered building as, it's just a metal siding, it's the metal roof. I mean, most of the time you don't see the roof, right? It's so high, and who really sees it unless it's a high slope roof? Yeah. Yes, metal siding is a part of it. The metal siding has come so far in the industry, though. I mean, there's so many types of panels, so many types of the ribs of types of panels, shadow rib and 7.2, and to create an architectural aesthetic. There is so many architectural elements now too that you can add over top of the panels.
Yes.
The panel becomes a structural panel when you do it in the right gauge with the right backing of the purlin, and then now you can put a Nichiha panel, which is a fiber cement panel, so which is your limestone finishes, your brick finishes, even like your siding finishes over top of it, and it's just, the list is endless. I mean, if you want a custom rain screen type of panel, you can put that over top of our building. So and what it does is again, it's simplicity, it's speed to market. Because our building provides the backing that's necessary, you laminate this right over the top. Where in conventional construction, if you can use a pre-engineered building over top of conventional construction, you don't have to frame a wall and then do an OSB siding or a Den's glass siding or anything like that before then you have to put this product on. So you're limiting the number of trades too. So it's trade steps. It's you're only bringing in the erector that is still encompassing the whole exterior envelope of the building.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I was talking to Stacy Lynn, the barndominium lady.
Love her. She's amazing.
She's so awesome. She loves you too. And I was talking to her, and this is so obvious for anybody who's watching out there who's in construction. What I'm about to say is going to be very obvious, but it really hit a chord with me, is that all of the electrical, all of the wiring, all of the plumbing, everything can already be set. It's set into, so it's all consistent, whereas in more of a traditional stick frame or other ones, sometimes it kind of moves around. It does different things, where with steel and the prefabrication and the plans are all there, you're all set. And I was like, there's so much more to it that I think as normal people don't always understand. Yeah,
the course of construction and dealing with other trades and the coordination that you have to do with those other trades when it comes to being a general contractor, it can get quite extensive.
Yeah.
And so by working with a pre-engineered company or a barndominium company like them, by the way, I would recommend talking to them. They're amazing. Her and Oliver are so awesome people.
I know, they are.
But you really can start off your project really well because that coordination really happens from the start. Yeah. And you can really accomplish a lot of goals that you're trying to set in what you're trying to in any application. You want to you want a bathroom over in this location, then yes, you can put a bathroom anywhere in a conventional build, but you can also get quite creative with how you do it, and also you can get creative because of the way that our walls have purlin walls. The cavity's bigger, it's more open. You have room for renovation and flexibility down the road where you're not cutting out studs, worrying about structural things, because our structure is at 30-foot centers. So it changes the ballgame a little bit.
Yes, it totally changes as you go on. And you've been doing a lot, so barndominiums, a lot of residential, and we're seeing them. I mean, we were talking about it. Whole developments are starting to come out this direction. It's just starting. It's still kind of a new thing. But when you can look at the sustainability, the performance, the durability, and the flexibility, that's a lot of ilities. But I think we're going to see more of that.
We are. And like, there's a new product out that's just came out last year. You're seeing it here at the show a little bit. It's called ACT. It's cold form buildings. I'm actually going to be getting with Stacy and Oliver and talking with them a little bit about that because it fits their need and what they're doing. I think it can bring down the cost of a barndominium because you don't have to do it in the heavier steel now with this cold form solution.
Wow.
And us as a company, we're going to market with it. We're putting putting out a big marketing campaign in conjunction with Cornerstone and their products. So we're going to be hitting the national market with that. So look out for that coming soon, and where anybody can come and buy an ACT building, whether it's a garage. And the purpose of that is it's to compete with the pole barn buildings, the wood structures with the metal panels.
Yes.
But you're getting still a steel building. So which would you rather have, a wood building or a steel building? And you don't have the cost of a pre-engineered building. So there was a market gap there, and we're trying to hit that market gap. And that's going to create versatility. And what it's going to do is in the market that you're talking about with the residential building, it's going to open that market up a little bit more because of the cost factors, because of speed to market, and because of what we can do with those code form buildings. So I think you're going to see that ramp up with these new solutions.
Well, and it's interesting because I really am looking at this next generation, right? So our Gen Zs are coming on, and they want to be able to buy homes. They want homes, but they also care a lot about sustainability. They care about what effect they're having on the larger environment, and they want something that they can afford, which, I mean, that's right there is the biggest part. And so it seems to me like this type of construction is really going to fit that next generation that's coming on, but also have the aesthetics and the cool factor, you know?
Well, the next generation, they're young, and they want something that's more contemporary, right? They want a contemporary feel, and the steel does that. You're starting to see a lot more homes that are finished concrete floors, and they're not doing the wood floors or the tile floors anymore. So you're really seeing a good solution there. And so, metal is becoming the new age of design because of this younger generation, because of what they want. And again, the cost factor is starting to close. Early on and years ago, to have a standing seam metal roof on your house, you were the rich guy. We talked about this yesterday.
Exactly.
And so it's now that gap is closing. And what's happening too is the young consumer is starting to see value. The consumer, even just a general consumer now, they want to see value, so they're willing to pay a little bit more today for a product that's going to last longer down the road. And that's what you're getting in metal construction. The residential construction world of asphalt shingle and all that, great products. I'm not going to say that they're not, but they can't compete with metal in longevity and in what metal can, how it performs and what it can do for you.
And we kind of talked about this yesterday too, also with the extreme weather. And that we're seeing so much extreme, from wildfires to hurricanes to hail. It's just that those storms are, I was just talking to somebody from Tampa, and their house is gone. They had shingles, they flew off, water came in, it's kind of done. And I mean, I know there's a lot of really good asphalt shingles out there too, but I think with all the studies and everything we're seeing, we're going to just see this incredible lift in metal. I want to kind of shift just a little bit to more of an international look too, because it's so fun that you do buildings all over the world, right? And so what are some of the things you're seeing on an international level? Is it a lot different than the U.S., or are you seeing some of the same trends?
It's very different than the U.S. I mean, it really is. I mean, you talk about the cold form buildings. Cold form buildings have been being built in Australia for years. Like they know, like they're very good at the market. So we're looking at what they have done over the years, and we're trying to bring what they have done here to the United States. So we're using them as an example. Insulated metal panels have been being used in Europe for decades. Decades even before the United States was using them. So there's pre-engineered buildings in all of Central America, South America, Africa. Pre-engineered buildings are so relevant all over the world. And so really it's really a new technology here in the United States. 50 years, 60 years, but it's still kind of relatively new in comparison. Everybody else has embraced it a little bit more. So we're seeing a big push around the world for this. We recently opened up our office in Costa Rica. That's an engineering office for us.
That's awesome.
And we're moving into all of Central America, and with a very hard push into Central America because of the need that's down there. And so we see it, and we want to be a part of it and help it be done right. We look at our industry and we respect our industry, and we really want it to be we want it to be a worldwide respect that we have for it, not just a U.S. Basis. And so we want to move into those markets, including Canada and all, and say, look, we're here to help kick this off the right way. Do they already exist down there? Yes. We're not the first ones, but they need somebody who can kind of come in and take charge a little bit, and I think we're capable of that.
And are you mostly seeing in a lot of these structures that you're doing internationally, all industrial, commercial, kind of, what are some of the niches that you're going into?
Yeah, mainly industrial commercial. They haven't
Okay.
taken on to the residential piece of it yet,
Yeah.
because they Central America normally builds mostly with like masonry with their houses
okay.
and in
Yeah.
the residential market. I'm not sure what that reason is. I mean, obviously on some coastlines it makes sense,
Right.
kind of like what they do in Florida with
Yeah.
building houses out of masonry and all. But it's mainly industrial. It's manufacturing. It's a lot of heavy commercial is what
Yeah.
we're seeing, and they get it. They like that speed to market. You know?
Right,
And
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes a total sense. Okay, let's talk technology. I love
okay.
technology, and so I'm really curious, like in your business, where are you at software-wise? What's your tech stack? What are some of the things that you have really seen that have changed your business with technology, whether that's in the office and with your software and stuff, or like we talked about a little bit yesterday, in the field with the tools and where they're going?
Well, so technology has really helped every business across the globe, right? And what's interesting though is in the construction industry, technology has come a long way over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
With the issuance of project management programs, companies like Procore that are out there,
Yes.
great program. But what's interesting is when you get down to my niche business, what is very interesting is running an erection company, there is no good program out there to help with erection.
Wow.
And I find that to be interesting.
Yeah, very.
So for us, what we have done is we have created our own technology. So we use Excel, and we create the workbooks. So we're not a dinosaur in Excel.
Yeah.
We bring in Excel experts. We create the workbooks that we need to create, and they automate. So it's kind of like our own technology inside.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of technologies start, is with the contractors,
Correct.
knowing what you need and building it that way.
Well, and I think that nobody's really tapped into our segment yet, because we're such a niche segment. You go
Right.
out there and you Google, you'll find a million programs for electricians and even roofing companies
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that. You'll find a ton of
Ton.
them. There is none in my particular segment. So the technology from an erection standpoint, like we've had to take all the different types of segments and kind of bring them all together to make them what we want it to be and operate it, and it's kind of like our own program.
That's really interesting.
But outside of that, I mean, the technology out in the field goes to the type of equipment that we're using.
Right.
Vacuum lifts, the technology on them has come such a long way.
Yeah.
The vacuum lifts that we use to raise IMP panels for the walls and our IMP roof panels, down to even just the drills. I mean, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, was the drills that we use. Like, the drills that we use are not the drills that you get from Home Depot. They look like it, but they are not. But the technology in them is truly amazing. Like, I know this from just using drills and being in construction for all these years. I pick up some of these drills and I'm like, wow, like they're lightweight, but they're hugely impactful. They run certain cycles, and the manufacturers have become so well in their technology and so secure in what they're providing. We use Milwaukee. We love Milwaukee, so I'll give them Milwaukee
Good.
pitch. Hey, Milwaukee
Good.
reps,
There you go,
show me
right
some
there.
love, please. But we use Milwaukee stuff mostly, and Milwaukee is so trustful in what they provide that when it burns out, you send it, they repair it and send it back.
Yeah.
And that's what
Wow.
they do.
That's
and so that's
amazing.
technology in my mind, and that's useful because I mean, we go through those things. The life cycle of a drill, of a $500 drill, is probably 2 months before it has to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
So, but they're doing better with the technology to make that last longer.
Because you need that, and like you said yesterday, all battery operated.
All battery operated. So the technology in that. Batteries used to go through a battery an hour. Batteries now last several hours. You know. So we're seeing it from that standpoint. Obviously, the iPad technology, all the touch technology, getting plans out to the field, getting changes out to the field. So we utilize that kind of software to the foreman, so it plays a big part in what you're doing if you're doing it right. You can either operate like a dinosaur, or you can operate in the world. And unfortunately, you might have to migrate. A lot of people get lazy with it, and they're like, especially the smaller contractors, because they want to take the position like, oh, I don't have the time to do it. Look, if it helps your company be more efficient, then you got to make the time to automate something, even if that means you're doing it in Excel.
Yeah. I agree. That's those automations. We're doing the exact same things. We're looking for it all the time. And I mean, so it doesn't matter what business you're in. It's like, how are you allowing your team, your crew members to do the best job the easiest way with automation, because there's definitely not, I mean, there is a labor shortage. And so
huge.
You need to use every, and I've heard this, Bobby, and I think it's really interesting is, I hear people, I was just in a panel on this where they were like, well, all this technology, robotics, all this kind of stuff is going to take jobs away. I just don't see that. It seems like we don't have enough people to do the job, so the more we can automate, the better.
So I think it's a balance, right? I think the more that we can automate, the better, but it doesn't take jobs away because there's still things that the robots simply can't do.
True.
Even in the manufacturing side of it. That the touch of a human needs to still do. So I don't care what type of automation you're doing, you still need the jobs inside the manufacturing facilities.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm not a manufacturer, but I do know that, and I've talked to people who have said the same thing. But there's plenty of jobs out there. I think it comes down to what jobs people truly want to do, right? Like, what are they going after? I know for us, like, we're constantly hiring, and we have so much to build. I could hire 100 qualified people tomorrow and put them to work without a problem. But the problem is there's not enough education out there for people to come out and say, oh, well, how do I do this job? Or do I really want to do this job? Or with some of the younger generation, oh, I don't want to work construction, it's too hard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's fulfilling and you can make good money. Oh, there's no money in construction. Yeah, it is. I mean, what did I tell you yesterday?
Right.
My average employee makes somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000 a year in the field.
Wow,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so you can go get your 4-year degree in business and come out and make $50,000 a year and have all the debt, or you can come to work for us, start at $25 an hour with zero experience, and in a couple of years be averaging $100,000 a year. You're way ahead of the curve, and you learn a trade, and you work with your hands, and you see a different part of the country all the time, because you're traveling, and so the life experience there is just even the quality of life. The life experience is so great, and it starts with educating people in high school. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to talk to everybody when they're already in college taking on the debt. We stopped talking to kids in high school.
Yes.
The kids in high school need to be talked about and have the option. We took away all the trades. We took away the wood shops and and all the auto shops and the Votex and we got rid of all the hands-on trades, and then we all stand back and look and say, oh, well, we have a skilled labor deficit. Well, geez, I wonder why, everybody.
I know. We've created this.
We did.
And we're aging out. I mean, we have to, our population is an aging population, and so
I'm going backwards. What are you talking about? I'm 29 all over again.
I'm gonna go with you. So yeah, I agree 100%, and I think that message, and this is what we talk about all the time. We want to get out there, and I think it has to start even younger, right? I think it needs to start in middle school. And I mean, why don't we have books that we're reading to our kids? And we actually do in roofing. We have some of those books, but my mom, my dad, they're in roofing.
Right.
Those kind of things that show the respect of the industry. Or, you're building, and the people who work with you are building amazing structures that are going to do amazing things.
Yep.
That is such a pride,
It's gratifying. You show up and there's nothing there. You leave and there's something there. Like, how much more gratifying is that? Like, you created something.
Right.
And I feel like that's really important to anybody. I feel like that's what everybody inherently wants. They want to be a part of something bigger. They want to be a part of something where they're like, I created something. Well, the trades allow you to really stand back and be like, you know what? I did that.
Yeah.
I did something that most people can't do.
Right.
So,
and to learn that. Okay, so I just love these conversations. They always go so fast. But one of the things I want to really talk about is 2025, and really maybe just kind of starting. You already mentioned the product ACT, right, that you're working with. What are some of the other, without giving away any secret sauce or trade secrets, what are some of the things you're seeing here from? I know we were talking earlier about metal forming machines. What are some of the things that kind of get you excited with new new initiatives, new products, new machinery that you're looking at for 2025?
I think it's I think from a manufacturing standpoint, it's the technology of the machines that we're seeing. I think, and their capabilities and what they're able to do. So I think that, and the constant enhancement that these manufacturers are doing. I mean, they're constantly enhancing to produce a better product. And that's important. Like everybody looks at a piece of trim and they're like, oh, it's just a piece of trim. I have to look at a piece of trim and that thing has to be good and concise and not oil canned. And I look at it differently. And so they're really refining the process is what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that I love. The technology just in the metals too. I mean, what they're doing in the metal coatings is amazing.
Oh yeah.
The whole like printing on metal now. We talked a little bit about that with what was it? The camouflage colors and all.
I'm like, where do you use that?
Right, exactly. Right.
Okay.
Right. So,
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of buildings and a lot of deer things out there, hunts, whatever they're called.
You're going to see a lot of backyard buildings that are going to have camouflage panels on it soon.
Yes,
Billy Bob in the back over there is going to be working on his truck in a camouflage building. Is what we're going to end up seeing.
It's going to be all camouflage.
So,
and the wood grains, I think, are spectacular.
Amazing.
And even some of the shiplap.
Yep. It's amazing. You can't even tell until you walk up on it and you actually touch and feel it. And so, I think the coating technologies are coming so far. I mean, companies like Sherwin-Williams, I mean, who does it, they do an amazing job already. And then you see some of the stuff that they're presenting here, and I'm like, wow, and I have so many questions, and I'm like, and I'm not even a metals guy. Like I put the stuff together, but I'm not even a metals guy, right? And I'm like, I have so many questions about this. Like, please explain this to me. Like, how does it do that?
Did you see the Watts removal? Over in Sherwin-Williams, they actually have some new. It's not totally new. He's been on the market for quite a while, but it takes off graffiti, it cleans off rust, it cleans off organic matter. And you can actually just spray it. So sorry, that was one that I got kind of excited about too.
There's a lot of communities that could use that.
Yes, right now,
for sure,
big time.
But like, I think that technology and what we're seeing there, I think is that's all part of it.
Yeah.
And then just the technology too, like with the new buildings, the cold form buildings, that technology. Like, who would have thought? And so so you see in the industry constantly moving, which is what's exciting.
Yes.
That constant move forward, that constant betterment. For a while there was a little bit of stagnation, and I remember, about 10 years ago, for a couple of years, like, it wasn't as progressive as it is right now.
It's true.
And there's a lot of progressiveness in this business and what I'm seeing here at the show, and it's really got me really excited to be a part of it and to be like, wow, you know what, we could use that, we could do this. I said to my project managers here, I'm like, you need to go around and get all the information from as many people as you can, because we want to consider some of this stuff.
Well, I mean, and that's really the big thing, is being that thought leader, right? In your market. You already are, you're the largest, but you're also that thought leader that is saying, hey, we're not standing still. We are moving forward. We're bringing new technologies, new architecture, new ways of looking at it. And I think it's taken, and I'm a little prejudiced here, but I think it's taken people like you, Bobby, and other folks that I've seen who are really willing to talk about doing things different. And there was my dad was a general contractor. Your dad was a contractor, right? And we know it was just kind of the good old boys. That's kind of changed.
It has changed, and look, everybody still stays status quo, and only a very few amount of people really push themselves to be progressive. But being progressive is what changes the market.
It does.
But being progressive also too, in my opinion, being a visionary and being progressive, like, I hope that I inspire other contractors who look at me and say, wow, I want to keep up with him with that. He did it, I can do it. Because that's what I did. I looked at people and said, hey, if they're doing that, why can't I do that? So I'm hoping that I'm following, that I'm giving the right leadership in that progressiveness. And I'm okay with being the first one to step out and do things. I really am. I'm willing to take that risk. But if it helps inspire somebody else to say, I want to do that too, and I want to see his model and I want to see what he's doing, I'm okay with that, because I love the competition too. So bring it on. Let's go.
That's how we feel here at the Metal Coffee Shop. We want to push that edge, but we also want to have great celebration and respect for the trades and all of the history that's gone into it, but where are we going next? And we love to be on that front edge of saying, here's what's next. Here's how we're gonna do things that next generation, like we talked about about are demanding, right? They're demanding more sustainability for us to think about the environment. Affordability, right?
Yeah.
We want homeowners, and so I just think it's awesome. I'm very excited for the future in 2025.
Yeah, we're excited. We are too. I mean, 2025. I mean, look. 2024 was okay.
Yeah.
It was flat. We have an election coming up in 5 days here now, something like that. Depending on how that goes, it's going to tell what's going to happen. Either we're going to be flat next year, or we're going to start to see the ramp up of good progressiveness.
Right.
Interest rates need to continue to come down, so people start buying again and start trying to boost up. We got to get inflation under control. So there's a lot that can happen in 2025. Nobody has the crystal ball to see what's going to happen, but hopefully it's all in the uptick, and we're hoping for a good year.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a little bit of what would you call it, backlog or pent-up demand.
Oh, yeah.
Because unfortunately we've had a lot of messaging that's hard to live with and kind of makes people a little scared.
Yeah.
But that's going to change.
Yeah.
And with the interest rates, I agree 100%. Interest rates coming down, a more positive messaging that's going out there. Things will come around.
We have several projects that are on hold. They won't pull the trigger on contracts until January.
Yeah.
They're waiting to see what's going to happen. They're just waiting. And these are big projects.
Yeah.
This is so we're obviously, because of that, we know what they're hoping for. We're hoping for the same kind of thing. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens, and we'll make the best of it. The industry, nothing's going to die. It's not going to be the end of the world. Oh my God, everybody locked down, the purge is happening. We're not dealing with that. But at the same time, we have to make all the best of it, and no matter which way it goes. And I think the industry is moving in the right direction. I mean, this show is good proof of that.
It's great. It is. It really is. And you know what? Everybody needs shelter.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, everybody needs shelter. So
Absolutely.
We're in a great industry, great history. Bobby, thank you as always. This
Heidi,
is
thank
just
you so much.
Spectacular.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been great.
It's so
Love
fun.
seeing you in person. We need to do this more.
We're going to do this more.
Absolutely.
In fact, I want everybody to stay tuned to Metal Coffee Shop, because Bobby, as this year, is already our influencer on Metal Coffee Shop. We're going to be doing more next year. So more influencing, more thought leadership, more podcasts, so that we can really kind of talk about what's happening and keep everybody at that front edge, so that the industry all rises together.
Looking forward to it, Heidi.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for this live on Instagram. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is MetalCast. Be sure to check out all of our MetalCasts on the Metal Coffee Shop under the navigation for Read, Listen, Watch. Or on your favorite podcast channel, be sure to subscribe and set those notifications so you don't miss a single show. Also, YouTube, be sure to ring that bell, and we'll see you next time on MetalCast.